The foreign affairs minister, wey they call Yusuf Tuga, he don't come out come talk say the present administration does not have time to waste on frivolous issues following controversy surrounding President Bola Ahmed Tinubu claim of having attended and obtained a certificate for Chicago State University in the United States of America. Even sef, this man wey dem dey call Osita Okechukwu, he come fire Atiku. He say Atiku record na even smell pass Tinubu own. Say Atiku no be person, say person no dey body, say e own dey come for road. He wan drag Bola Ahmed Tinubu, but make you know say e own cockroach na plenty pass for inside cupboard.
How would you review the release of President Tinubu's academic records to Mr. Atiku Abubakar? Has anything changed so far?
Well, I would say, yeah, a couple of things have changed. One, it's been established for a fact now that Tinubu did attend and graduate from the university, from Chicago State University. So that fact has been established. And it has also been established that it was he who actually did attend the university. But we also learned from the documents that were released that he presented a transcript that contained F as the marker of gender identity. And F, of course, everyone knows that's female. So that caused to question the real identity of the person who attended Southwest College, which later became Daly College. But in the deposition that I read, the registrar of the university said that was a clerical error, and that the records of his signatures and handwriting that he have at CSU is consistent with the signature he signed when he asked someone else to collect some of his documents on his behalf. So we have established that he attended the university. He graduated from it. But the other issue is the certificate that he presented to INEC. It's now clear that that certificate was forged. The registrar said they did not recognize it. It was not an authentic document that emanated from their school. But for I want to give a little context here for the benefit of people who do not understand the American system. Here, certificates, or what we call here diplomas, are merely decorative, celebratory documents. They don't mean anything. No one, well, most employers would not ask you for your certificate. So it's not the same kind of importance that it has in Nigeria and maybe in Britain. If employers want to verify the authenticity of your claims to have attended and graduated from an institution, what they do is to ask for your transcripts. Even high schools here, secondary schools have transcripts. So even if you have people want to verify your secondary school attendance, they'll ask for your secondary school transcript. And you could see that the registrar was mystified, even discombobulated by the importance that Nigerians seem to be attaching to the document. And he says, well, he graduated from here. That we can confirm. But the certificate he used to verify that graduation is not from us. So these are the two issues that I see here. Of course, the other one is the pre-university certificate that he presented. Shows that he took an HSC exam, GCA levels, and it's sort of mysterious because he said he graduated from Government College Lagos, but we know that Government College Lagos was not established until 1974. So he made this claim in 1975. So the school was only a year old when he said he graduated from it. And as I pointed out earlier, the HSC is a 2-year course of study beyond the secondary school. And to have earned a GCE A-level result in 1970 means that you must have graduated from high school, secondary school in 1968. So by 1968, that school did not exist. So there are questions now. There are still questions being asked. So one, we've established that he attended Chicago State University and graduated from it. There's no question about that now. Two, we have established that the certificate that Atiku's lawyers have presented as that which he presented to INEC is fake. So, and the question that I asked in my intervention is, I said, this is mysterious self-harm. Why would you do that to yourself? I graduated from a college, from a university, is certain, I'm not making that up. But then the certificate that I used to justify this legitimate and true and valid claim is fake. Why would you do that? And I prognosticated, I guessed that he must have lost his certificate. And instead of applying for it, waited until the last minute and realized that to get a replacement certificate would take up to 10 weeks. Because I went to the website of the Chicago State University and I realized it costs just $26 to ask for a replacement, but then it takes between 8 and 10 weeks for you to get it back. So if you're doing that at the last minute, you might realize that, well, you can't get it. So a lot of things are being muddled here, which is, does the fact that he forged the certificate invalidate the legitimacy of his claim that he attended university? No. So these are completely different issues. It's like I graduated from the school. It's certain that has been established. But then these are, of course, different cultural issues. If he were in the United States, no one would ask for his diploma. They would ask for his transcript. And the transcript, you don't provide a transcript directly as a student. You write to your university to direct them to release a transcript to the people who are asking for it. That's the way it works here. So no one directly gives that evidence to whoever is asking for it. You have to waive your right to conceal your academic records because there's a rule called FERPA. It's a federal law that says no one can have access to anyone's academic records unless that person expressly permits it or if the courts force the university to do it. So if you ask, if an employer asks for your records to verify or validate your claims to have graduated from a high school or a university, you have to write a form. You have to fill out a form to say, okay, release my documents, it's me. And if you don't have a signature, because it's not possible to write a signature, your social security number will verify identity. So that's the way it works.
Now, thank you so much for that detailed explanation. Before the documents were released, the president, through his lawyers, had tried to block the release, saying it will cause them severe harm and that it will not be admissible in the ongoing petition against him in Nigeria. But I'm wondering, what impact, do you think it will have any significant impact on the appeal at the Supreme Court that Atiku Abubakar has filed, especially when you consider the way the Election Petition Tribunal ruled in the first instance?
Well, not being a lawyer, I can't speculate as to how the Supreme Court is going to rule on this. We have a Supreme Court that is now predictable, that does not respect precedents, that is mysterious in its judgments. So it's not an exercise that I'm prepared to partake in. A Supreme Court that allowed someone who came fourth in an election to be declared a winner. A Supreme Court that says a governorship election in which someone clearly won was invalid because deputy had a certificate that had different names from where he bears. I mean, those things, frankly, don't make any sense, but we just look forward to what the Supreme Court says. But, and there are arguments, lawyers never agree on anything. Some set of lawyers say new evidence cannot be accepted in court. Other lawyers say, well, no, it can be accepted. But here, this forgery, frankly, it's a very unconventional forgery. And we're going to see, because it's what I call it unconventional, because people typically associate forgery with making stuff up that you do not possess, that you do not have. If, for instance, he did not attend Chicago State University and decided to get a certificate indicating that he attended, that's what we understand forgery to mean. But in this case, he did attend Chicago State University. He graduated from there with honors. And the registrar said even the F that appeared in the transcript that he showed was a clerical error, because his performance at Southwest College and his performance at Chicago State University are consistent, because he graduated with honors in both. And I asked in my intervention yesterday, if someone were to get a diploma or a certificate belonging to someone else and use that as a basis to get admission to study the same course, I don't expect them to perform as well in that course as they did in previous classes. So there's some consistency in the performance from both Southwest College and Chicago State University, indicating that it's the same person. And we know that that person is the person we know today as Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But why he did not have the patience to apply and get the certificate he needed to verify and validate his graduation is what I didn't know. So what do you call that sort of forgery? It's not a forgery to verify it's not a forgery based on false pretenses. It's forgery based on carelessness, overconfidence, maybe I think the predilection to just do things, without care, without thought, without preparation. That's what that strikes me as. So the Supreme Court is going to debate what kind of forgery this is. So there's both the spirit and the letter of the law. The letter of the law says if you forge a document, you should be disqualified. But the spirit is, what does forgery mean? Forgery to present yourself as that which you are not, or forgery that comes out of carelessness, because he, as I said, did clearly attend and graduate from the school. So that's the legal dilemma I think that the Supreme Court will have to interpret.
Very good. Unfortunately, the issue refused to die down, and of course, social media has its own version of the narratives. Now we're hearing that the F on that certificate actually belongs to a medical doctor bearing the same name with Bola Tinubu. Can you give more insight on that?
Yeah, I saw those claims, and at first they seemed very plausible. But when I searched up the name of the person and the identity of the person, incidentally, she practices at a town called Opelousas, which is very close to, it's like less than an hour away from where I lived a couple of years ago. And then it turned out that this Tinubu, Abimbola Adenike Tinubu, is actually 52 years old and graduated from the University of Ilorin Medical School. So it's very improbable that that person is the Bola Tinubu, is the same thing as Bola Tinubu. It's extremely improbable. In 1970, she was born in 1971, attended the University of Ilorin, and graduated in 1998. The likelihood that that's the person that Bola Tinubu, what we now know as President Bola Tinubu, is impersonating is completely untenable. So I think that's just social media propaganda speculations that is certainly untrue.
So with this revelation from the Chicago State University, are we any closer to actually knowing who indeed the president is? Because there's been a lot of speculation about who he is, about who he's not. There's been so many conspiracy theories surrounding his personality. Are we now closer, or will it be right to say that all doubts have been cleared and he is who he says he is?
No, I wouldn't say all doubts have been clear, but I think we have pathways to discovering who he really is now. And I think for me, that pathway is the secondary school result. There's no government college Lagos. That fact has been established. There was no government college Lagos at the time he said he graduated from it. And then he was supposed to have graduated in 1968, but then he said it was 1970. And I think that provides a lead that we can pursue. What did he mean by Government College Lagos? Did he by any chance mean Government College Ibadan? Because that's the most popular government college of that era. And he had claimed that in previous INEC forms that he submitted in 1998. So, but of course, many alumni, most notably one, I think it's Femi Aridis. Forgive me, I'm not pronouncing the name correctly, but there is a pastor who writes for the Premium Times who has consistently said that he graduated from Government College Ibadan about the same time that Tinubu claimed to have graduated from it. So there's that provides a pathway to dig further into his background and to his claims. My own suspicion, which is not supported by any hard and fast evidence, is that the certificate, the A-level certificate he presented, does not belong to him. But I don't have any proofs, any valid, foolproof evidence for it. It's just my hunch. And I think that's where we are going to pursue, because the other leads, frankly, have proved to be dead ends. Because for the registrar to say under oath that they are convinced that he was not female, although F appears on his transcript. And on that same transcript, there are so many clerical errors. The US Social Security numbers are written 4 numbers 4, and then you have 2 numbers in the middle, and then 4 numbers at the end. But on that transcript, the middle numbers were 3. And when I initially saw it, I said it's impossible to have Social Security numbers with that kind of numbering system. That does not happen here. From the very get-go, when Social Security numbers were established, the format has always been 2 numbers in the middle. And to have 3 numbers there, as I thought, suggested a fakeness. But it turned out that it was real. So that transcript itself has problems, not just the F. And as you can see in that transcript, the record for high school was blank. The date is completely nonsensical. It has just the month and the year. And so many other things were wrong with that transcript. But of course, you have to remember the time. This was in the mid-70s. And so many things were off. So I think there's a little wiggle room here. If these other errors exist, why do you think the F says anything? Why do you think the F is valid? If the Social Security number has an error, the high school is blank, the date itself is wrong, why is the F right? You have to agree that all these other things are right to insist that the F being there is an issue. So, and the registrar says that they believe that he was a man when he was at Chicago State and went to Southwest College, which later became Daly University. And he did take exams, qualifying exams. And the qualifying exams was in English, math, and reading. And he was there physically as a man taking the exams. So there are all kinds of issues there. It's still a little murky who he really, what happened there. But for me, it's I'm satisfied that this man swore under oath that it's the same Bola Tinubu who was at Southwest College that came to Chicago State University and graduated from it. So I don't know what the Supreme Court is going to say about that. But yeah, these are my thoughts.
All right, very good. Finally, do you think this will give any leverage to Mr. Atiku Abubakar, politically regarding his current bid to have his elections, progresses during the tribunal? And of course, this is not the first time the former vice president will question every other politician regarding their credentials. Remember, a few years ago, former President Jonathan also went under this same, scenario as well. And of course, the court here gave him succor. Briefly, what do you think of this scenario for him as well?
Yeah, well, as I said earlier, I cannot predict how the Supreme Court is going to rule. But what former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has succeeded in doing, from my perspective, is to hold President Bola Tinubu to account, to beam the searchlight on his identity and his credentials. So even if he doesn't win the legal war, I think he has won the moral battle. Because whatever happens, even if the Supreme Court does not overturn Tinubu's election, he's been wounded almost irreparably in moral terms. But you're right that this is not the first time the certificate issues have cropped up. Even Buhari himself, his secondary school result was the subject of a lot of disputation until he finally got someone to get Cambridge to release his result, and has satisfied some of us who had questioned it. Good luck, Jonathan himself. I was the one who went out of my way to get people from the University of Port Harcourt to look at the records of doctoral dissertations written between the 1980s and 1990s. That's when I saw I saw a record of his dissertation there. I saw the title. I saw the person who supervised him, the number of pages he wrote. And I was asking in my column at the time, why in the world he was keeping that away from the world? Because there was a Freedom of Information Act request to get the records. The university refused. He himself refused. And then it raised this cloud of suspicion that his doctoral dissertation or his doctoral degree was fake. So, I mean, it's almost always that way. People tend to not want anyone to pry into the privacy of their private records, academic records, for any number of reasons. Maybe I can understand that they think that, that there's a phenomenon called apophenia, which is the tendency to see patterns and information that don't even exist.
With the new development, Rufai refused to speak concerning this matter. But Dr. Bati, hey, una get to hear with he analyze. I told not see this other video I play before. The way this guy take talk, you know, say the guy is neither here nor there, but he's just saying it based on what has been said according to the proceedings. However, Dr. Abati review when they bring this matter come up was disgusting. You see, I'm saying the way he talk is different from the way this guy talk. This video where you play finish just now, the guy was neither here nor there, but he was just talking or explaining from the viewpoint of what the judges have said or what the Chicago State University has said concerning the whole matter. So you know, say I'm saying me just the hammer more on Tinubu, no. But Dr. Bati's own tone was so different. To the extent Rufai refused to talk after Dr. Abati don't talk finish. Rufai was just mute. He no want to cause kata.
Okay, yesterday on this program, I was talking about the principle of open justice, which is the basic justification, whereby, when there is a matter before the court of law, even mechanics and vulcanizers and all kinds of persons will get involved in it. Everybody has an opinion, whether it is informed or uninformed. But the principle, as established by Jeremy Bentham, 18th century English philosopher, is that publicity is the soul of justice, and that the judges in trying are also invariably on trial. So you find all kinds of perspectives and people insisting on their rights. Where are we on this matter? Yesterday, when we were discussing, we said we were waiting for the deposition.
Yes.
And that happened yesterday. CSU, Chicago State University, was represented by a man called Carl Westberg, and the lawyer who is the registrar of Chicago State University, and also by a gentleman called Michael Hayes, representing CSU. Henderson and Oluwole Afolabi appeared for the intervener, in this case, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, president of Nigeria. And then there were 5 other lawyers who joined by Zoom. But the deposition by Carl Westberg is what I want to summarize very quickly. One, he said that the person who is president of Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is the same person that attended Chicago State University. 2, he confirmed that a certain gentleman called Adeniji, who had come forward to say he was Tinubu's classmate, in fact, was also a student in the university at the same time, and they both ran for students' union position. 3, he said in the United States, the emphasis is not on diploma, that the diploma that were, that the PDP and Atiku Abubakar are looking for, it's just a ceremonial document, that what is at issue, what they will give out is transcript. 3, he said the F that is on that Southwest College, document, that it was a clerical error, which you yourself had acknowledged, and that it could happen. But that Southwest College is a major feeder source for Chicago State University. Number 4, he also pointed out that, look, there have been about 6 registrars since 1979, and he was not there, although he's now the current registrar, and that the documents by all, all documents that they refer to in the process, that those documents, that Oluwole Afolabi counsel to Bola Ahmed Tinubu and asked that they should be certified, that they don't certify documents. That 4, or is it 5 now, that the replacement that Bola Ahmed Tinubu asked for, right, that they usually don't replace certificates because, that those certificates are issued by vendors. If you ask for transcript, they give you your transcript. 5, he also made the point about the matter you raised yesterday, that the certificates that they have in their custody are certificates that are not being collected by students. And it happens. Some students will graduate, they will not collect their certificates. So it's possible to show representation of what appeared. So these are, the major submissions by Caleb Westberg. That is that about that. Because yesterday we were saying we'll wait for those depositions. I asked the question yesterday, are there any smoking guns in the document? By the testimony of Westberg, we can conclude that by that testimony, there are no smoking guns for those who are looking for smoking guns. Number 3rd point to go forward is that this trip to the US has been for discovery for use.
Yeah, you've made that point.
Discovery for use. Okay, this discovery for use, you then ask 2 major questions, which are very relevant at the center of this, beyond emotions. What is the probative value of this, what we have now discovered? What is the utilitarian value? The Constitution makes it very clear that, you can't advance evidence that were not originally pleaded. It's just pure principle. You front load your evidence, and then the defense will file their response. You don't come and plead, piecemeal before the court. So the question that everybody has been asking is, okay, what will now happen at the Supreme Court? If logic is to be followed, nothing will happen because the Supreme Court is not likely to reverse itself. And those who are quoting Order 2, they are quoting that Order 2 of the Supreme Court rules in vain. What the substantive law says stands, and I will be shocked. Even the exceptional circumstances that anybody wants to plead, those exceptional circumstances may not stand. I stand to be proven wrong, but that I think is the gravamen of the issue, beyond sentiments, beyond emotions. We were saying they should do this, they should do that. Those issues, in fact, the petitioner did not even plead forgery or identity in the original pleas before the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal. That's how it will work out. It's not even about technicality. It's a substantive issue at stake.
On the contrary, Mokuna hear wetin woman talk, the way she talk to everybody, including the Tinubu himself.
After reading the speech given to me, I want to first say thank you to everyone. Thank you to Attorney General that organized this event. I am so happy about it. But isn't it high time we stopped this our administrative talk? Tell Nigeria what they want to hear. Delay it, and it goes swept in under the carpets. We need to change the narratives. We come up here, we read our speech, people listen, no implementation. The children are dying every day. The women are dying every day. Even the men are dying every day without justice. We base what we think about more on sentiments, We base it more on that is people will stigmatization. How long are we going to continue with this? If we want to move this country forward, we have to tell ourselves the truth. We have to tell Nigerians, we are sorry we failed you, but we've woken up to make things happen. There's no way these things can happen without us changing our ways, including the police. I'm sorry to say this. The police has come up here. They've said they've formed this by end of the year. This will be ready. For how long are we going to hear that? For how long? There is a case in Enugu right now where an 8-year-old girl was molested by her stepfather. For years, this man has been molesting this girl. Then all of a sudden, the petition was written to my office, and I called the Commissioner of Police Enugu. Pick this man up. That was when I was going for Unga. Pick this man up and let something be done about it. If you don't use one person as a typical example, this thing can never stop. We continue talking. It could be your child tomorrow. It could be mine. It could be your grandchild. And after I spoke to the Commissioner of Police Enugu, I spoke to the DC in charge of CID. I equally spoke to somebody in judiciary. Let us use this as a typical example, which we must use. Nobody will stop it, because that child is a child of the state. We can't continue speaking grammar when innocent people are dying out there. My heart bleeds. And after I spoke to all these people, lo and behold, police as usual took this child to this man to court, gave him bail, and that will be the end of the matter if we don't all come together and follow up. We have to follow up. Enough is enough. Now, as we speak, the families of the man are on the woman. The woman has changed her mind to prosecute the case. That is always the case here. But let's use this and show them that that child does not only, the woman should even be sued for negligence. Because if she was not negligent, these things cannot be happening to an 8-year-old child for years without her knowledge. Talk less of she coming out there. I hope I'm not stabbing I hope I'm not doing anything bad here. I don't know why you people are agitated. I should shut up. So why is the agitation? I want to know. I am pleading with you people because I will not relent until that man is used as an example to teach others that business as usual is over. This time around, you commit a crime, you go in for it. Now, on female genital mutilation, that we have the donors here, I suppose. They've brought in a lot of money, and as we speak, the problem has gone from 5 states to 9 states from the data. For how long? Children are dying, contracting diseases. Some of them end up not able to deliver children in future. They get infected by the local ways that are doing this female genital mutilation. And we're still folding our hands, prolonging things, bringing in bottlenecks that will make these things not to happen. For how long? Why are we not supposed to protect these children? Is it not our duties? If not, why the positions that we are holding? If Nigerians are dying every day from maltreatment, and the first thing you see, like the Calabar case, is to bring in sentiments. There's a woman in Lagos today who they almost lynched, lying against her that she was a armed robbers informant, while the woman is a lawyer. That case is dead. I am still going to follow up the Commissioner of Police Lagos, and for any reason, any wuru-wuru comes in there, I will call on all of you. I will scream to the world, because those people must be brought to book. I heard they've arrested the woman that raised the false alarm. But this is the way it is in Nigeria. Raise alarm, everybody jumps into it. Sentiments. You try to tell them, let justice be done. It becomes a problem. They want, step down, step down. You're not supposed to be there. You're supporting this person or you're supporting that person. But if you don't check well, an innocent person might go to jail, or a criminal might go free. Either of the two, one will happen, which is very important we check. So that is another case pending, of which we usually use it as a typical example to bring down blackmail. And the female genital mutilation. How do we do that? I was expecting us to please. I wrote an application with a nod from the president, asking for a mobile court to address these issues. I asked for a mobile court, and they promised me they were going to look into it. I've spoken to the governors. They are going to call it, if not the UNGA, that their chairman and some of them went with the president, first to India and then to United States. They would have done an emergency meeting to give us an approval. I want all of us to stand firmly on that mobile court, because that is the only way we can address this, and I will give you my reasons. As we speak today from our data, 24,720 reports have been laid. And as I'm talking to you, only 306 has been prosecuted. Think about it. So we're thinking about 22,420 pending, probably forgotten and swept under the carpet. Just imagine that. How can we continue like this if we don't tell ourselves the truth? Sit up, stand firmly to defend our fellow Nigerians. Who will do it for us? If we don't change things for Nigeria to start working, who will do it for us? Look at the president's renewed hope agenda. It's part of what he's looking into on women and children. Some women borrow babies. They go on the streets, they beg for alms, they sleep under the bridge with these babies to make money. These are people that are able, that could go out there and get empowered, and they start working. And we're all looking, some of us even come out and give her money, instead of looking into the baby she's carrying around. Another group, they carry small girls, children that are very sick. They go on the street with their deformities, which could be treated in national hospital with less than 800,000 to 1 million. And I will stop them before I became the minister. I will want to take the children, they will refuse. Environmental will see them, carry them to their office, collect bribe, and let them go. I can call people that I later used police to pick them up, and those children were helped and treated. And they will tell you the story of their experiences. So how long are we going to continue with this? One of them, I called him last week. I said, bring that child to my ministry. Bring the child. He said he doesn't have transportation. I sent him 25,000, of which I've told one of my staff to report to the police. He collected that money and disappeared. If you see this child's face and the condition this child is, you will not believe it. But I will get him. I promise you people, I will get him. But if I get him, what happens with our judiciary? How we know it is? It delays. How are we going to do that? It will delay till I even get old. It will not be addressed. And when I now get old, the man will go free. And that's the end of the matter. I'm already getting old. So who knows how long it's going to be? So I am pleading, let all of us stand firmly. If they could bring out mobile court for traffic offenders, why not for the lives of our children and women? Why not? I know all of you here are capable of getting these things to work. If we decide to be truthful to ourselves and know that our country needs help, and that help can come from no other person than all of us, it will be very good. Then in the data again, 975 people are fatal cases. Those that died in the course of rape and some other gender offenses, and nothing has been done. Then 8,540 cases that are still pending, either at the police station or within the courts. Convicted, only 306. Then closed cases, only 1,505. We're talking about 24,720. Note that those in the interior villages, They have no means of reporting to this data. So by the time you add them, you should be talking about probably 50-something thousand, because it is even more there. And that's why I suggested we create the mobile courts. Then in the course of creating the mobile courts, we equally empower some of these women in the villages so that nobody will give you excuse if you arrest the person that the children are home or hawking. The person will not give you excuse that it's because he or she does not have money. Let us empower these women in a different way, not handouts anymore. We could empower them by providing them with productive machines. When we provide them with these things, we create market like I have done already. A company in America have joined me when I went to Onga. We entered MOU. They're ready to be exporting whatever our people are producing. And there's already a hub that will teach them how to package these things. Now, rice. If we empower these women, we can increase the production of rice in the country, and food will come down. So we are expecting the rice milling machine 4-in-1, which we've already grouped these women in cooperatives. We women now, I'm advising them, no time to start having the kind of meetings you've been having before now, where you sit down and talk almost nothing. Nothing that will put food on your table. Let us focus on our country, because if we get women to focus and do better, the country will be saved from the crisis we were looking at before now. So those cooperatives, we gather them, those that are their areas produce rice, and we give them the rice milling machines. Those that their areas produce cassava, gari, we give them the gari milling machines, and we give them a target. And there's a seedling introduced to me by Deputy Chief of Staff to the President. That seedling produces multiple rice. We will give them those seedlings themselves and make sure they get enough land to plant. We will do same for the other groups, and we give them a target. And I can assure you, Women Affairs alone will bring in so much rice that rice price will drop. And at the same time, we're empowering the women. So when you empower them, they say a hungry man is an angry man. After you have empowered them, and they still go ahead, after we empower them, like I have explained, then we'll bring in the sensitization. You can't put up your jingles on radios and televisions alone. That's why we have brought in the Women Affairs Ministry. We have brought in town criers. And I've spoken to the NUJ president. They have to include this in a way. This is Africa. We can't treat ourselves the way Westerners treat themselves. They're not the same. There are people here that don't have light. There are people here that can't afford radios and televisions. So we bring in town criers in such areas where they will go in and speak in the languages they understand and tell them this is a crime. If you commit it again, there's a mobile court to look into it. And you have been empowered so that you will not be a hungry man that will be angry. You will now feel better with yourself, get busy with your lives, and then recognize the fact that you've been punishing your babies, taking it as ignorance, which is not an excuse in law. When they finish the sensitization and you commit the crime again, the whistleblowers will get in to pay them salaries. We will get them in. Any report you make, you get some amount of money. We will get them in, arrest the person, the police comes in, then take the person to the hospital, confirm the genital mutilation was done freshly, then the mobile court comes in. By the time you jail or fine a few people, that particular thing will come to an end. We need to do this. Remember, you have empowered them before you're taking this action. When you give a hungry man food, whatever you tell the hungry man will agree because you've put food on his table. That's why I'm begging everyone, please support me on this. I beg you people, just put these people into consideration. Think about them. Let us work on this mobile court because what I'm talking about is far much more important than traffic. I know traffic is equally important, but we're talking about lives here more, especially on the voiceless people who can't speak for themselves. Just check the data I told you. but we don't have from those interior areas, of which we are still looking into, to get them to know how to report or to get how they could be reporting by creating coordinators across the state. But is it enough? It's still not enough. But if we bring up this mobile court, this fight all of you have been tirelessly fighting for, it will help us to bring it to an end.
Due to the high level of forgery, scam and other things, so you be say no good, this thing don't go dey affect the innocent one wey they genuinely wan go school. My people, you know, see say wey one thing no good, it go spoil the rest. Therefore, if that one head wey wan spoil the rest, if e no suffer make e comot im hand for bad thing, or best thing make e resign, na so e go take collapse as Abbas Lawal take collapse publicly. Everybody see am, na so e go take collapse, because the word go dey on his shoulder. In fact, every moment of his life they go dey remind am of a mistake, and that one go come cause hypertension for am. Before you know wetin dey happen, I go your leg garan, the next you go see himself for ground. This is Bod TV Bod. In case the first time you come here, please don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell for more uploads.